Imagine the dusty winds of the American West howling like ghosts from a forgotten frontier, where one man's solitary life on a sprawling ranch is about to shatter into chaos and redemption. Because what if your mail-order bride never arrives, and instead, fate delivers 7 wide-eyed orphans begging for a home? If heart-pounding tales of unexpected family, hidden secrets, and unbreakable bonds grip your soul like a lasso around a wild stallion, hit that subscribe button now for more epic stories that blend the grit of the Old West with modern twists that'll keep you hooked from dusk till dawn. USA and UK readers, don't miss out, subscribe today and saddle up for the ride. In the vast, sun-scorched plains of Montana, where the sky stretched endlessly like a canvas painted by a lonely god, lived Jack Harlan, a rugged rancher in his mid-40s whose life had been carved from isolation and hard labor. Jack's ranch, Harlan's Hollow, sprawled over thousands of acres of rolling hills, dotted with cattle that lowed mournfully under the relentless sun. He'd inherited it from his father, a stern man who'd died young, leaving Jack to fend for himself since he was barely out of his teens. No wife, no children, just the creak of the old wooden porch, the whisper of wind through the sagebrush, and the occasional neigh of his faithful horse, Rusty. Loneliness had gnawed at him like a coyote on a bone, so one fateful evening, after too many whiskeys by the flickering lantern light, Jack penned a letter to a matrimonial agency back east. He described himself honestly. Tall, broad-shouldered, with calloused hands and a heart scarred by loss, seeking a bride to share the burdens and beauties of ranch life. Weeks turned to months, and finally, a response came from a woman named Eliza Thorne, a widow from Boston with a spirit as fiery as her auburn hair in the photographs she sent. They exchanged letters, her words painting pictures of laughter and companionship that Jack hadn't known since childhood. She promised to arrive on the stagecoach from Billings on a crisp autumn day, and Jack prepared meticulously, cleaning the dusty cabin, stocking the pantry with preserves and fresh bread, even planting wildflowers by the front path to welcome her. As the day approached, anticipation bubbled in his chest like a spring welling up after drought. He imagined her stepping off the coach, her smile banishing the shadows from his world. But as the sun dipped low that afternoon, casting long shadows over the dirt road leading to his gate, the stagecoach rumbled into view, dust billowing like smoke from a wildfire. Jack straightened his worn hat, his heart pounding, but when the door swung open, no elegant woman in a traveling gown emerged. Instead, a harried driver hopped down, his face etched with exhaustion, and behind him tumbled out not one, but 7 children, ragged, wide-eyed, and utterly abandoned. The oldest, a boy of perhaps 12 named Tommy, clutched a faded satchel, his siblings huddling behind him like frightened calves. 2 girls around 10 and 8, Sarah and Lily, with braids tangled from the journey. Twin boys of 6, Ben and Billy, identical except for the smudges on their faces. A toddler girl, Rosie, barely 3, clinging to Lily's skirt. And the youngest, a baby boy named Sam, swaddled in a threadbare blanket and wailing softly. The driver thrust a crumpled note into Jack's hands before cracking the reins and vanishing in a cloud of dust, leaving Jack stunned on his porch. The note, scrawled in hasty ink, read, "These are the orphans of Eliza Thorne. She passed on the trail from fever. No kin left. Deliver them to the rancher. She said he'd take care of them." Jack's world tilted. Eliza, his hoped-for bride, dead. And these children, her wards from some orphanage she'd volunteered at, now his responsibility. He stared at the kids, their eyes pleading silently, dirt-streaked faces hiding stories of loss. Tommy stepped forward, voice steady despite the tremor. "Ma'am, Eliza said you'd be our new pa. She promised." Jack's throat tightened. He wasn't built for this. But the night was falling, stars pricking the sky like accusations, so he ushered them inside, the cabin suddenly alive with the patter of small feet and hesitant whispers. That first night was chaos. Rosie cried for milk Jack had to warm over the fire, the twins knocked over a lantern nearly starting a blaze, and Sam needed diapering with rags Jack improvised from old shirts. Jack lay awake on his cot, the children's snores filling the air like a foreign symphony, wondering how to send them back to civilization. Come morning, he saddled Rusty and rode to town, intent on wiring the agency or finding an orphanage. But the telegraph office brought grim news. A storm had washed out the roads east, stranding them for weeks. Resigned, Jack returned, finding the kids had already stirred, Tommy fetching water, Sarah sweeping the porch, Lily tending to the little ones. They weren't lazy. They'd been raised hard, Eliza's influence evident in their manners. Days blurred into a routine. Jack taught Tommy to mend fences, the boy proving quick with tools, revealing he'd worked in a factory before Eliza rescued them from the streets. Sarah baked biscuits that rivaled any Jack had tasted, sharing tales of Eliza's kindness, how she'd taken them in after their parents died in a tenement fire. Lily sang lullabies to Rosie and Sam, her voice sweet as honey, masking the scars from beatings in their old life. The twins, Ben and Billy, chased chickens and helped with chores, their laughter echoing across the fields like birdsong after rain. Even little Rosie toddled after Jack, calling him, "Ha," in her lisping voice, melting the ice around his heart. But twists lurked in the shadows. One evening, as Jack sorted through Eliza's satchel, left with the children, he found hidden letters, not from the agency, but from a man named Victor Kane, a notorious gambler from Denver. The letters spoke of debts, threats, and a plan. Eliza wasn't coming to marry Jack out of love, but to hide the children from Kane, who claimed they were his kin, stolen by Eliza after he abandoned their mother. Eliza had posed as a bride to escape, but fever claimed her en route. Jack's blood ran cold. Was Kane coming for them? Whispers in town confirmed it, strangers asking about orphans on a ranch. Then, a storm hit, fierce winds rattling the cabin, and in the chaos, Tommy confessed, "Eliza wasn't our aunt, she saved us from Kane's gang. He's our real pa, but he's mean, beats us for fun." Jack's resolve hardened. These kids weren't going back to that hell. He fortified the ranch, teaching the older ones to shoot tin cans, turning chores into survival lessons. But Kane arrived one moonless night, a shadow with 5 riders, demanding his property. Gunfire cracked the air, Jack shielding the children in the barn as bullets whizzed. Tommy, brave beyond years, snuck out and stampeded the cattle, creating pandemonium that scattered Kane's men. In the melee, Jack faced Kane, pistols drawn, Kane sneering, "They're mine by blood." Jack roared back, "Blood don't make family, love does." A shot rang out, Kane falling wounded, his gang fleeing into the darkness. Dawn brought the sheriff, Kane arrested for old bounties, the children safe. But the deepest twist came weeks later. Among Eliza's papers, a will naming Jack guardian, and a locket with her photo, inscribed, "For the man who'll love them as I did." Jack realized Eliza had chosen him not by chance, but from stories of his father's kindness to strays. The ranch bloomed anew, the children thriving, Jack no longer a loner but a father, his heart full. Years passed, twists fading into legend. Tommy took over the ranch, Sarah married a neighbor, Lily became a teacher, the twins adventurers, Rosie a healer, Sam a poet. Harlan's Hollow echoed with grandchildren's laughter, a testament to unexpected fates. And Jack, watching sunsets from his porch, whispered thanks to the bride who never came, but delivered a family instead.